Salute, salute, salute. Back again, man, on this Thursday night, man. Salute to all you guys, man. Salute, man. Salute to all the supporters, man. Sim is going to be here about 15 minutes late, so we're just waiting on him. I'm going to talk to you about some stuff in the NBA, man, some stuff from Paul George and James Harden, because most of the show tonight is going to be on the Knicks. But, before Sim gets in here, man, thank you, Sam. Thank you. Salute to Sam, John Talento, Mike Morgan, Tri Burrow, Eddie Rolden, Frederick. Salute to all you guys, man. Salute to everybody that's coming in here, man. This is crazy, man. So I'm gonna just start off with this Paul George crap, man. So Paul George comes out today and basically throws Doc River under the bus. Ralph Jean Francois, not ça passe, na poulet. Salute, man. Mike Morgan, Eli M, what up, what up, what up? And just to get to this, man, your boy Paul George is bugging. Your boy Paul George is bugging. I think he scored, 10 points in Game 7 against the Nuggets? This guy has the nerve to talk trash about Doc Rivers. Now, granted, Doc Rivers does have his issues, right? You know what I'm saying? He is not a coach who adjusts well. This has been known for years. I mean, if you heard, I believe it was Shaq or Kobe say that during what? Was it Shaq or Kobe? No, it was Kobe, I think, that said it. Damn, I can't remember. I think it was Kobe who said it during the playoffs. Something like that. No. It was Phil Jackson. My bad. Phil Jackson said it, that, he's not a coach who adjusts. Basically, we can attack him. Basically, the game is coming. Just play it smart. You know what I mean? Suit to Darley, man. Suit to everybody here, man. And yes, December 11th, I'm definitely covering the preseason games the preseason games. Try to cover as many NBA games as possible for the Knicks. So definitely stay in tune with me as we go along in this interesting Knicks season. But just to go off of what your boy Doc Rivers said, Paul George said, Paul George says that in this Yahoo report by Jason Owens, says that Paul George basically lays blame on Doc. And I'm going to play a little bit from the All Smoke podcast. So just listen up.
Doc is gone. T. Lue is in. Me playing for that team and still being close to some people on the business side of it. You heard there was some rumblings in the locker room and stuff was a little rougher than we thought it would be. You guys seem to make it work and put it together as much as you can. What do you guys feel like, obviously, with the letdown of last season? What do we in store for this upcoming season, personally from you, but from a team as a whole?
For me, because a lot of people don't know, I work out and I train hard every summer, right? This was the first summer I wasn't able to do that because I had this past summer going into last season was the first summer that I wasn't able to do that because I had shoulder surgery. Mm-hmm. So I missed a whole summer of training. And so when I came back, the team was already, rolling. They already got, we started off okay, but we didn't start off as well as we wanted to. But I feel like they already had a little chemistry going. And so when I came into the mix, I missed that time in the summer of playing pickup ball, hooping, getting a rhythm, getting a flow, working on my game. The timing right. So when I came back into the league and started playing again, I just felt off. I didn't feel like a part of the team. And then, the way I was being used, I felt like I was, Doc was trying to play me as a Ray Allen or a JJ Redick, all pin downs, all I can do it, but that ain't my game, right? You know what I mean? I need some flow. I need some mixes of pick and rolls. I need some post-ups. All that. Just different touches, you know what I mean? And so it was just,
Let me just stop it there. I don't watch a lot of the Clippers, man, but the times I did watch, it looked as if Paul George was allowed to do anything he wanted, right? They kind of, from what I saw, now, if you're a Clippers fan, if you know about the Clippers more than me, please let me know in the comments, man. I'm not sitting here trying to act like I'm an expert. But I saw a lot of ISO. I saw Paul George have a lot of reign to do whatever the hell he wanted. Now, again, you're up 3-1 in the playoffs. You're seen as you call yourself playoff P, right? Sometimes, and I'm not saying this excuse for Doc, but when we look at guys who are top-level stars, sometimes we look at you to say your talent supersedes any type of system we could put in. When we call guys superstars, I call Kawhi Leonard a superstar. You call the AD superstars. Maybe we need to refine what that word superstar means. Maybe we need to stop giving out like candy. Because this guy's talking about I don't only pin down like Ray Allen or JJ Redick. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the only way you're allowed to play in the Clippers. I'm certain. I watch games. Hey, McCann signed with the Mets. I'm be covering too. Trevor May, McCann. I'm be covering some Mets talk, but back to NBA. So, in what world was he not allowed to play like Paul George? Paul George is not a superstar, Triborough, not even close to it. Paul George is not a superstar. But again, this is what I'm talking about. These guys get in a league. They want to play their way. They push coaches to get fired, get these puppet coaches and blame it on it. No, sorry. They get good coaches. I'm not saying Doc Rivers is perfect. Underperform. Instead of looking at their own games, you're up 3-1. And then you blame it on Doc Rivers. The same guy who cheated on Doc Rivers' daughter, by the way, which I think is, I don't know how you dating the coach's daughter for all the women in the world. You know what I mean? But let's get back to his interview with Paul George.
That last season was just hard overall. But I think for this year, everybody's starting off on a healthy page. We're starting off on the same page. Me and Kawhi going to get some time together working out. I think everything is just not rushed going into this season. I felt last year everything was kind of
it happened for a reason. I think y'all going to benefit from that because going through the wars and the struggles and the ups and downs I went through in the bubble, now y'all coming out to start again with a new coach, with a fresher-minded coach, with a guy who y'all probably could communicate more with because he's more close to our age. And we kind of, you know what I'm saying? We come from that same era. But I think y'all benefit from those hard times that y'all come together more this year because y'all starting from school.
Let me ask him, what the hell does Tyronn Lue do? Kaiser Sose, what's up? Salute. Can someone please tell me what Tyronn Lue does coaching-wise? And Jean-Francois, let me know, because I'm not a Clippers fan, and I don't watch enough of their games like that, but the times I saw them on primetime, it seemed like Kawhi Leonard and PG had a lot of leeway to do whatever they wanted on the court. So I'm just confused. You got Tyronn Lue, who's a puppet coach, who I think is, if you want to call him a coach, I'm just confused as to, like, what is it? When do these guys take responsibility? He's talking about, oh, we didn't have enough time to gel. There are a bunch of players that came in. Some played with each other the year before. But again, everybody's looking at you, poor George, that your talents should be able to supersede whatever system that you're in. And now you're blaming it on Doc Rivers. And fair enough, Jean-Francois said that that Doc Rivers wasn't using PG right. But again, you're up 3-1. With, what was it, like a 12, 15-point lead in the third? And you couldn't close it out. I think sometimes, even if that's the case, save face and just say, hey, it was on us. We're up 3-1. Because if this year comes around, you get beat by the Nuggets, you get beat by the Utah Jazz, you get beat by the Suns, what's your excuse now? Oh, Tyronn Lue wasn't using me. It's like every year is some excuse for Paul George. Ever since he didn't get that shot, the final shot with the Pacers, where he was already tapped out anyway. That final shot in the playoffs with the Pacers, I believe it was who's that dude with the round head who shot the three and then passed it to Paul George. This is what I'm saying with these guys, man. People make it seem like again, when it comes to these players, man, people say, oh, these guys are young, people this. Yo, man, you are in a league getting paid millions of dollars. Do your job. You may falter here and there, but okay, you don't do your job right. Take accountability for it, man. Let's get back to this stupid interview, man. Not a stupid interview, but
right. Being in training camp together, it makes a big difference, bro.
Right.
It makes a big difference for a team going together. And once y'all get that, I think y'all be fine.
Right.
And I just think the understanding, I mean, you got to think for the first time, the Clippers were picked to win a championship. When was the last time you ever heard that?
Right.
I mean, so a lot of added pressure on that. And then, like you said, not being able to gain that chemistry from the jump. Mm-hmm. And people can say what they want. Chemistry is the key to winning championships. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. The chemistry's got to be there.
Right.
You know, at least while you're playing. And to not have that was tough, you know. But I was someone who picked you guys. I thought you guys were built to beat who we thought was going to be in the West Finals, and I'm sure you felt the same way. How tough was it going in and having that lead on Denver and then seeing them walk y'all down and walk y'all out pretty much?
Yeah, it was tough because we was confident. We felt like, we went up 3-1. We felt like, we're gonna win the next one. We lost. We like, cool, we up 3-2. We're gonna win the next one. We lost. But during that whole process, like we never worked on adjustments. We never worked on what to do differently. We just literally having the same shit happen over and over again. So it started to play a trick on you, like, man, like what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? We talking amongst each other, like the conversations is like, nah, we gonna be all right. The conversation should have been like, nah, we need to change this. Yeah, we need to switch this up. So we wasn't, like, at the end of the day, I don't think we deserved it. We wasn't prepared enough going into it. Just us making an adjustment standpoint. We wasn't prepared. We didn't put the work into it. It was kind of just like, yo, we got PG, we got Quad, we got Lou, Trez. Like, we gonna be straight. We gonna figure it out.
All that shit on paper looks good, but like we said, man, it's
man, you don't like. And I related to, like, we didn't practice during the whole year, and that's hard to do when you putting a fresh new group of guys together.
Yes, sir.
Because the problems you have during games, those.
Now, let me just get to something now, and let me know if you guys if I am close to me talking. Let me see. You're using your mic backwards. Bring it up higher and closer. Am I using it backwards? That's not good. Hold on. Let me know if you guys hear echo now. The mic sounds weird. Let me know. Thank you, Darley, for that tip. By the way, go visit Darley's site on YouTube, man. I'll post it here. He's a sound tactician. Crap. I'll post it a little bit later. Computer show me dogs. I don't know what the hell this is. But so the Clippers, to me, didn't the Lakers have a whole bunch of new players that just came on the team? Outside of Kyle Kuzma, right? They brought on Arana was there the year before. I mean, they had KCP. So I guess I guess it was just AD, LeBron. Who else they bring on? They brought on Dwight. I think they brought on JaVale. KCP was there. Kuzma's there. So there are a few guys in that team. I mean, the two most important players didn't have any time to play with each other, right? I'm just saying, man, I just, these excuses, man, and you put on a coach when you're up 3-1. It's one thing if the dude was just playing you guys totally out of your element. You know what I mean? But no, I know, Ralph Jean-Francois, you cool, man. I got you. I know you come from. But it's just these guys, man. I just get sick of it, man. And now you got Harden. Allegedly, Harden said that he preferred playing with John Wall. Now, let me say one thing about John Wall. And this goes beyond basketball. I think he legit needs help. I think too many times you got these players where they want to go back to the people that they're familiar with from the hood or from their upbringing. And this guy's throwing up gang signs. I guess he's a blood. I don't know. Stephen A. Smith caught him at Rose Bar in DC. DC is great. I love DC. And Rose Bar is excellent. But you can definitely get caught up in that life where people, suspecting that maybe he might have a drug issue, alcoholism. He was looking fat and, a little pudgy in the face and things like that. All rumors. I'm not saying whether they're true or not. And I think that Houston's not going to be any better in an environment where Harden doesn't even want to be there really anymore, where that team is basically a new head coach. And I think he's probably going to be used as kind of like a lame duck head coach because you're going to have a Harden who doesn't want to be there. So how are you going to really coach that up? And now Westbrook is gone. A guy in Westbrook who, again, I'm not the biggest fan of Westbrook, but Westbrook did do better with Harden. Averaged 27 points of 47% shooting, which was higher than last year. I believe the previous year he shot 42%. 3-point percentage was still terrible at like 25% off of 3 attempts. But I think the attempts went down slightly. So at least he's starting to learn that that's not his game. And John Wall, I'm not sure. Look, I'm not trying to sit and try to be a psychiatrist, but that could be a disaster for the Rockets. I'm hoping quiet. I hope they have people around him to help him out. I don't know what his familiar issues are. But Westbrook with the Wizards. Now, Bradley Beal, to me, again, him and John Wall did not mesh, right? They were both kind of fighting for who's going to be the leader of the team. Obviously, Bradley Beal, with John Wall's injuries last year, kind of rose up, averaged 30 points a game last year. His efficiencies, I believe, were fairly strong as well, too. Let me just check this out. Maybe at like 38% from three. I might be wrong. No, 35%. It's just 35.3% from three, 45.5% from the field. Obviously, he's really the only guy there, him and Bertan. So he had to take it. And I'm pretty sure his usage rate was like 30-some%. And so I just wonder, can he replicate, especially early on, because Westbrook in the first 2 or 3 weeks was killing it with the Rockets. The Rockets were looking unstoppable until they came into the Knicks, where everybody was like, oh, do the Knicks have the magic formula to beat the Rockets? I remember that. Deadspin, Bleacher Report, they did write that. Do the Knicks have the magic formula to beat the Rockets? Because we were the only team that beat them at that point, convincing. I think we were the only team that beat. I think they were on a run before they came to the Knicks. But Westbrook was doing really well with Harden. I think Bradley Beal has more of character than Harden. I know it might be conjecture, might sound like it, but just from what I've heard about Harden and all these little machinations doing a team. I want to play team ball, and I want to play system ball, but you get rid of CP3 and you cut Melo behind his back. I think Bradley Beal is a better fit with Westbrook. It'll be interesting to see because, again, that's a young team. You got Bertans, you got Thomas Bryant, you got Roy Hachimura. Who they draft this year? Let me just. They drafted Denny Avdija, who I'm not the biggest fan of. Then they also drafted Cassius Winston from Michigan State, right? And so that is a young team that needs a lot of development. But could they sneak into the playoffs? And now the Washington Wizards did have a few years where they snuck into the playoffs with whereas Wall, Bradley Beal, Gortat, Oubre. And Westbrook is a guy, I believe, again, if he could play second fiddle like he did with Harden, again, his three-point shot is not good, but I think I don't remember what he shot from mid-range, but I think it was fairly decent last year. I think it was actually fairly good last year. A guy was not asked to or put in a position to facilitate, which I'm not saying he can't facilitate, but I just don't think he's that good of a facilitating point guard where you could justify having the ball in his hands, like, say, a CP3 who can set up the offense, get guys who are hot the ball in proper positions, whether it's on the block, whether it's in the post, the elbow, calling out ISOs for players at the right time. But Westbrook and Beal is very interesting. Now, I do agree. Someone just put over here. I can't find it. Salute to God, Mose Elijah. Salute to Kaiser Soch. I already said him. Stephen Fox, what up, what up, what up? It's me, what up? Nick Dreezy, salute. Hooper, salute, man. This dude's been on every night with me, man. Salute to you, bro. Damn, someone just had it here. But I do agree. The Rockets making the playoffs, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. A disheartened Harden. That was mad corny. John Wall coming back from injury. I believe it was Achilles, right? Which injury is very tough to come back from. They just signed Christian Wood, the guy who I think, the Knicks could have signed. It was all before Obi. I think he would have been a decent space out shoot. But for the money they gave him, what was it? 3 years, 41? 4 years, 41? 3 years, 41? Might be a little overrated for that because he had 1 year of a blip, and then people say, "Oh, he had in these little spurts here and there." But again, these little flashes. He's been on 5 different teams. There's a guy that his coach was telling people not to draft him, saying that he was, he came to the league overweight, not like fat, pudgy, but overweight from his working size or his playing size. Still got PJ Tucker. They traded Robert Covington. I just look at that team. I'm confused. What Wall might? I don't know. And now is Harden going to go back to basically the over dribble 1.5 man, 2 man game with Wall? I think at times Wall has been misaligned as a terrible point guard when he's playing on the court. I think at times he's been misaligned. I just think that him and Bradley Beal just didn't mesh. Then he got hurt and the drinking and then the blood stuff or the gang stuff. I'm just a little confused. Oh, yeah, Kenny Wooten's on that team. Thank you, Kaiser Sose. Well, the thing about Kenny Wooten is that he really has no ass. He's sized as a small forward at 6'8". But, you know, you only justify his playing style on the court if he's as good defensively as Dennis Rodman, right? Dennis Rodman was what, 6? What was Dennis Rodman? 6'7", 6'8"? Power forward who would defend on the block like a mother. Rebound, probably the best rebounder, pound for pound. I remember the games where he'd have like 2 points, 3 assists, and then or 2 maybe no assists, and 20-some rebounds. Like his acumen in regards to knowing where the ball hit off the basket to get a rebound was like mind-boggling. But that team I don't think is making the play, especially with a new head coach. Rockets head coach is Stephen Silas. And this guy was with who? I think he was assistant before, right? Yep, he was with Rick Carlisle's staff in Dallas. Is he going to try to run him like Dallas? Well, basically, Dallas is you could run that system, right? Where you basically have Harden as your Luka, because basically Luka is basically Harden. Let's be honest. I know Luka is nice. I ain't trying to issue on Luka, but Luka is basically a European Harden. Then you also need space shooters, right? Mavericks had THJ, you had Steph Curry, you had the ever talented but oh so overrated KP. Do the Mavs have that? I don't know. I'm not sitting here trying to ish and make, because people can be, oh, you should do Rock. I'm not saying the Rockets don't make the playoffs, man. I'm just saying, let me just go through the roster right now. You got James Harden. This is kind of old because Robin Covington just got traded, right, to the Blazers. They got Daniel House. They got PJ Tucker. They still got Eric Gordon. Jeff Green. I thought Jeff Green got traded. They got Ben McLemore, who's shown a little bit last year, coming from the Kings. This would be a sharpshooter. I think find his way with a little bit. Do they give him a bigger role in that team? Eric Gordon getting a little older. They signed DeMarcus Cousins, but DeMarcus Cousins hasn't played in how many years? Again, we're thinking about DeMarcus Cousins from the Kings, man. This dude is broken. And don't get me wrong, DeMarcus Cousins to me is one of the most talented big men I've ever seen. When I think about DeMarcus Cousins, I think about Derek Coleman. If any of you guys remember Derek Coleman, Syracuse finest, got drafted by the Nets, had a terrible attitude, but one of the best power forwards. Everybody said he should have been the greatest power forward of all time. People talk about, Mason Jones. I was just listening to a podcast by, was it? And salute to Nick G for putting me on this. I was listening to a podcast from Sam Vecini. I can't pronounce the Game Theory podcast, and they're talking about Mason Jones. I believe it was what, Indiana? The place, where did Isaiah Joe? Was it Indiana he came from? Not Indiana. Isaiah Joe came from Arkansas. Sorry. The colors got me messed up. And they were talking about how he came in overweight and but he killed the competition. He's just one of these guys, he has really good hips, right? So he's not the quickest, but he can catch it just because he can make plays without exerting a lot of explosion and energy because he has such good, really fluid hips. So I don't really know about that team. Are you going to give the youngins a chance? Guys like Mason Jones, guys and David Nwama's on that team, good defensive guard. Guys like Christian Wood, who I guess you have to feature now, but they've always needed a big man because they haven't had a big man after they trade Capella. So Christian Wood he's going to get looks, especially on the perimeter. They do that Harden crap again. But one thing I think Harden misses, that pick and roll, right, with Capella. I think that was a really solid element that team had before they got rid of Capella for, their experimentation with the NBA team with the whole, let's go with everybody under 6'6". So you got PJ Tucker, Ben McLemore, Daniel House. You got Gerald Green. I don't know, man. Bruno Caboclo, the Brazilian dude. I believe he got drafted by, was it the Raptors? I wonder if they're going to give him any burn. Let me see what his stats were. People call him kind of like a bust. Them dude's been he's been in the league since 2014. Damn, he hasn't been doing nothing. Yeah, he probably not gonna do nothing. Yeah, so I'm unsure, man. I'm unsure about where this team is going, man. Let me see what you guys say in the chats. I agree with you. Randall was it? I don't want Buddy. Buddy Hill, man. Sharpshooter. Whoa, 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 whoa. Carmelo's not the greatest power forward of all time. That'll be Tim Duncan. Let's chill out with that. Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time. Buddy Hill to the Knicks. Buddy Hill. Now there were rumors that, and again, they're saying that they said that Randall hasn't spoke to the media yet, and that Frank there's somebody that took down, like they put up a highlight or took down a highlight or something like that. Because I guess it was on the horizon that those two were going to get traded for Buddy Hill. Now, Buddy Hill what he is. He is a dead-eye sharpshooter, right? He shot 42.9% from three last year off of 16. This is how absurd Buddy Hill is. He shot 42.9% from three off of 16.1 attempts last year. When you talk about wet, when you talk about no blood in the vein, he is the epitome of that. No blood, just absolute sickening. That's disgusting. That might be the lead for the NBA, right? Average 19.2 points, 4.6 rebounds, 3 assists. Oh, did I read that wrong? I'm an idiot. Hold up. I read that terribly wrong. He shot 39.4%. I apologize, guys. He shot 39.4% off of 9.6 attempts, which is still great. 42.9% from the field off of 16.1 attempts, right? So, and I wish I had a shot chart. I apologize for that, guys. I'm looking trying to see if they have a shot chart here. I would love to see that. So let me see. In the restricted area, his percentage was 64%. In the paint, 34.4%. Mid-range is 39.8%. Left corner three, 46.3%. Right corner three, 47.9%. Above the break three, 37.6%. So he's disgusting from the corner. Right? If he comes in, he would do exactly. Salute to everybody go support my man Joe King of Knicks Morning Coffee, man. Coffee destroys my stomach, but I somehow could drink espresso shots. And I like listening to that dude, man. Go subscribe. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now, man. Most of you guys are already there. So, I mean, you guys already know it, but hold up. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now, man. Go and support the dude, man. I'm all about supporting Knicks content creators, man. No shame to my game, man. So please, guys, Knicks Morning Coffee. Please go subscribe. I'm still waiting for Tim. I don't know what's happening. Oh, let me see if he's texting me. Hopefully it's not anything bad. But you know what? I guess Tim will come in. Let's go to the interviews. To OBI Toppin interviews. Let's talk about that. And I'll play a little bit by little bit, slowly. So if Sim comes in, he can catch us on the way in. Let me start off with Kevin Knox so everybody can kill me. I'm a hater and all this other stuff. So I'm gonna go through the interview. I'm gonna stop it from time to time just to break it down. But let's just Kevin Knox interview.
Hey Kevin, hope you are well. Just wanted to ask you a question about the Kentucky presence on this roster. You got yourself, Julius, Emmanuel, Nerlens, and you got Kenny Payne now on the staff. Two-part, what's it like having all your fellow Wildcats, and also what has Kenny Payne meant to you both in Kentucky and, him being back here? What do you think that's going to do for your development?
Yeah, I mean, it's great having, all the Kentucky guys around the facility and around the league. I mean, that's one of the reasons a lot of guys go to Kentucky is to be in the position that I'm in now as playing in the NBA. So, I mean, it's great to have BB and family around the facility. We're just going to continue to work hard. KP's going to push us every single day. And we're just getting ready to work this season. But having KP here is huge for me because, And he helped me out a lot at Kentucky, just really just get me outside my comfort zone, push me past my limits, just get me better every single day. So it's always great to have someone like that in your corner.
Next question comes from Mark Berman in the New York Post.
Hey, Kevin. Kenny, actually, I talked to him when he was still at Kentucky about your season, and he thought that maybe you lost a little bit of confidence on the court. How much do you feel you have to prove this season?
I don't think I have much to prove to anyone. I really just proving myself. I put in a lot of work this summer, especially with everything going on. The season ending early. I really just prided myself on just staying in the gym, just getting better every single day. I was traveling to different cities, getting a lot of good work in, staying safe. I spent a lot of time with family, but the season is huge for me. I think going to the season, I have a lot of confidence right now. I think the coaching staff has a lot of faith in me, and they're going to push me every single day. The players around me, we're going to compete every single day in practice. So I think, and I'm expecting a huge season for me, and I'm really ready to get to work.
So one thing about Kevin Knox, just from his demeanor, not to say he's defeated, but it's very, I guess, kind of reserved. I don't know if maybe some of the exuberance is kind of, moved away from him. Maybe, that, wide-eyed kind of, he looks really reserved. Again, he has to be pushed. You either rise above the fray or you don't. Because a guy like Kevin Knox, think about this. Our depth right now at the 4 is Obi, MKG, and Randall, right? Obi's going to be here for the future. I think they're going to play Randall to build up his trade value and then probably move on from him. So he's going to play the 3. Now, at the 3, you have, I think they're going to move RJ to 3, even though RJ has been more effective scoring against 2s, just because I think the size is a factor. At the 3s, just because he doesn't have this, I don't know what it is, but I'll look it up. I'll try to look up and deduce why exactly. But he did do better against 2s, but I think he'll play at the 3. You also have guys who can play at 3 like Reggie Bullock, even though you could put him at the 2-3. Alec Burke, 2-3. And Alec Burke shoots the corner 3 really well. Go check my video on him. Am I missing anybody else from the 3 position? And the thing about Kevin Knox is that the 3 position is going to put him in a grinder. Now, if you put Kevin Knox at the 4, right, you're going to have some smaller 4s. Maybe you can use his size and his strength to guard against guys who may try to post him up, who might try to drive past him using more of their strength versus speed. But at the 3, he could be in a world of trouble. You have a lot of athletic wings in the league who are going to take it to Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox had bad court awareness in terms of his defense, bad footing, terrible footing. Kevin Knox's defensive field goal percentage, except for right at the rim, the differential between his defensive field goal percentage and the field goal percentage of that player against everybody else was positive, which is not good. Which means that Kevin Knox, on average, when he's defending a player, they score better on Kevin Knox than they do on everybody else. And that's not a good thing. Now, it did improve from last year, but it's still positive. Yeah, Bullock could play. Yeah, Bullock. Let me see Bullock's size. That's why I've seen Bullock play at the 3 at times last year. Yeah. Definitely see him play at the 3 last times. But again, last year was not, it wasn't. Wow, that's a great stat. Thank you, Stephen Fox. I did not notice. Kevin Knox played power forward 44% of his time as rookie year, 20% last year. So that's probably what exposed. So he's going to have to play at that 3. He's going to be stuck at the 3 with more athletic players who are going to try to light him up each and every night. How many good wings are in the NBA? I mean, they're good players all over in most positions, right? But the athleticism that they're going to impose on Kevin Knox, night in, night out, I pray for him, man. I pray for him. Because people think I'm a hater. It's not that I'm a hater, but, bro, to me, if you are not that good, or if you're coming to a team where the system's not being played up for you, where you're struggling, you got to be basketball. You got to eat and sleep basketball. Not to say he's not working hard, but even their mental acuity. And he's going to get to it when he's talking about the physical aspects of the development of the preseason of the camp. But he didn't mention anything mentally. He didn't mention, studying film. I never hear these guys, except for I heard RJ talk about it, right? That they put him through studying film and stuff like that. Not saying he doesn't do it, but we don't know. Maybe if he doesn't do it, that's unfortunate because it behooves him to watch other guys who had bad feet in the NBA who improve their games by better defensive position. Because you can offset every night. If you study a player's game, I know he likes to go to his right, to his left and shoot. I'll play him to his left. And when I know he's driving, I'll tell Mitchell Robinson or I tell the help defense to kind of shade to that side, knowing that he's going to drive to his right. That's defensive acumen right there. There are many ways to offset athletic players, but it comes through here. It comes through here. Yo, Clutch B-Ball TV. Suit to Clutch B-Ball TV, man. That's my guy, man. We were covering the what's the name game yesterday? The my boy Jalen Suggs, the Gonzaga game. I'm gonna do many more college games, man. That Gonzaga team looks really fun to watch, man. Unfortunately, Jalen Suggs had a little injury. They put him back out there, but Jalen Suggs is my guy. Yo, everybody, please, if you haven't already, Clutch B-Ball TV is dude 16 years old. He's putting more work than I did when I was 20. So please go subscribe to his channel. Subscribe all the Nick content creators, man. There's no hate on my side, man. Salute to these guys, man. I got admiration for all you hard workers, man. So salute to them, man. Clutch B-Ball TV, man. And Mobley's playing right now. So I'm here talking when I should be covering Evan Mobley, man, who put up 17 and 11 or 17 and 10 the last game. But I'm gonna watch that game, man. But go subscribe to Clutch B-Ball TV, man. Stop playing games. But let me go back to the Kevin Knox interview.
Steve Popper, Newsday.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for doing this. I know you talked about having the confidence this year and what you feel like this year is going to be, but how hard was last year to go through two coaches, see your minutes reduced a lot as a young player? How tough was that to go through?
Yeah, it was tough. But, I mean, this league is a business. I mean, things happen. People get traded. Stuff happens in the organization. But, I just try to stay focused as much as possible. I mean, I think last year, I think all the guys did a really good job of just staying focused with everything going on, just continue to put work in every single day. I mean, last year was rough, but, I mean, I stayed in the gym all year last year and just continue to get better. And unfortunately, we had the coaches changes, and I wish them coaches nothing but the best. But, I mean, I think we got a really good coaching staff this year and a lot of new guys that are really ready to work and really ready for this year.
Ian Begley, SNY.
Kevin, thanks for doing this. I hope your family and friends are well. Is there one or two things that your focus was on this offseason that, Knick fans or people watching the games might see, on the court? Is there anything that you focused on over the few months that you were away?
I mean, I really just working on all aspects of my game. I think something big for me this summer was really getting in great shape going into the season. Coach Tibbs was really preaching that all summer long to all the players, making sure that they come into camp being in shape. And I think that's going to be huge for all of us going into the season, especially for me, just having energy, going out there every single night and performing hard every single night.
Rebecca Harlow, MSG.
Rebecca.
Kevin, looking forward to working with you again. But, it's interesting. You've gone from being one of the youngest players to one of the longest tenured Knicks here. How are you going to approach your leadership role this year, just being one of the guys who can help the younger players understand what it takes to handle playing in New York?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here, it's about to be my third year. So, I mean, I've been here for 2 years now and just really enjoy playing in the Garden. And Obi comes to ask me a lot of questions now. We've been chopping up a little bit, quickly. He's from Kentucky. He's been asking me a few questions every now and then. So I really just really want to communicate as much as possible, help the guys out as much as possible playing in the Garden. But those guys are very confident in their game, very confident in themselves. All the new players are. I don't think we'll have a really problem playing in the Garden this year. But any questions, anything that they have, I'm here for them. Obviously, being a leader, just stepping up, communicating better on and off the court as well.
Mark Berman, New York Post.
Yeah, Kevin, you talked about working out a lot and with the weights and stuff. Have you put on any muscle weight since the end of last season? And also, I think Obi said that you guys were working out together in Jersey. Is that right? I was just wondering what your impressions were of him.
Yeah, I mean, to the first question, I put on some great weight this summer. I've gotten a lot stronger. Like I said, I've been really just working on putting weight on my body, lower body getting stronger, upper body, just standing in the weight room, just continue to get stronger each and every day. I think that's also another huge aspect that's going to really help me out on and off the court as well. But going back with Obi, I mean, me and Obi worked out for, I want to say, a month maybe in Jersey. And, just coming in every single day, just really working out with him, post-ups, shooting up, getting up a lot of threes, pick and roll stuff. And that was my first time ever meeting him. And we kind of got along right away. Every single day we was just lifting, getting in the gym every single morning. But right then and there, I knew he was going to be a great player in the league. And I didn't even know he was going to end up getting him, obviously. But I'm glad to have him on the team. It's one of my good guys. I mean, me and him did a lot of really good work this summer, so I'm really looking forward to getting on the court in this year.
He mentioned something really interesting, man. Yo, Mark White, what up? What up? What up? What up? Salute to Mark White. Salute to all you guys, man. B-Ball TV, all you guys. Mama said don't trust you. Salute. I actually never read. I just always saw Mama, but I never read the rest. He mentioned something really interesting. So he mentioned two things. Now, putting on more muscle on the lower body, right? He definitely has to sharpen up, right? Because it's not necessarily, I don't think he has chicken legs, but his feet are just goofy, right? And so straightening up your calf muscles to allow for more tighter shifts, movements with the lower body is going to be really important for him, right? On the Achilles, do all the work down low with the feet, ankles, everything to give him better joint movement. He's going to need that coming into the season because he just has goofy feet, right? He doesn't have, I don't think he has like basketball feet. He just has like big goofy feet. I can see him like he was playing in football. I can see him literally taking 7 steps back, those big feet, and like just launching the ball, right? He has to work on his brain to his lower body. And that also means building a better muscle memory, doing drills, quickness drills, agility drills, cutting drills, right? Coordination drills, reaction time drills, right? And he said another interesting thing. He said that he worked on the post-up with Obi. Now, we all know Obi doesn't play great defense, so he should be feeling really good with that post-up. I'm very interested to see how his post-up game would be because, again, he's not the most twitchiest, right? Like, when I think of great post-up games, obviously Olajuwon, I think of Kevin Garnett. People don't remember Kevin Garnett used to have that shimmy. Kevin Garnett used to shimmy dudes at the elbow, at the foul line extension. Used to shimmy and catch you with a fadeaway, a deep two fadeaway when you could shoot deep twos. I'm not saying Kevin Knox has to do that, but the post-up game is extremely important. I don't care what no one says. I don't care what Rick Carlisle says. Rick Carlisle took away the post-up from KP, and look at KP now. He's hurt. But the post-up game will be very important for Kevin Knox because he's not the fastest of foot. He's not the fleetest of foot. Oh, here comes Sim. My bad. Sim is in the building. Yo, what's up, Sim?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? We were just playing the Kevin Knox interview. Little by little, spread it up. Get in. So let me just, I'll have a little bit more to play, and I'll stop and start. So if you want to make a comment,
all right.
You don't mind.
Spencer Julian, MSG.
Coach Tibbs is obviously known for his defensive, obviously great defensive wherever he's been. I'm wondering how he's going to be able to coach you into a better defensive player.
Yeah, I mean, that's during the mini camp earlier in the summer. That's all he really preached, making sure that that I lock in defensively, rebounding in the right spot, rotation, and that's something that he really pushed all of us to do over the summer. I think we're really going to continue to push us during camp and about the season to really take our defense to another level. I think we all have the tools to be a great defender, and I think that he's really going to push us to really be a great defender and our individual defense as well. So, that's something that he's been potentially all summer, and I'm really looking forward to getting out there, expecting more from him, and really taking the game to another level.
We have time for 2 more questions. Hey, Kevin, thanks for doing this. What were your impressions? I guess, during the training camp and working out in Jersey, what were your impressions of his game and some things athletically that kind of shocked you?
He's a good athlete, man. Coming from them, 8 in the morning, first time it was just crazy that his athleticism is where it is at now, but he's only going to continue to get better. He really stretched the floor, shooting the ball really well. He's in great shape right now. He's going to be a great transition just because we got a lot of guys that really can fly. transition. But I mean, his game is for the league now. He can run the floor, run the floor well, really take advantage of other guys. So we're looking forward to coaching other coaches really getting better throughout the year. Really great player for us.
I think Sim. I think. Hold on, I think he's saying there's an echo from his side.
Saying there's an echo.
Yeah. Do you have the video playing?
I mean, no, I don't have anything else playing, so I'm not.
All right.
Hey, Kevin, you guys traveled around a little bit to different positions in your first 2 years. And does it matter to you what role you have and particularly reclaiming a starting job?
Yeah, I think everyone going into the training camp is really, fighting for minutes and fighting for spots on the team. So I think obviously that's one of the things that I really want to do is go into the camp with the mindset and confident that I can really start on this team. So we want to go in there and we're going to compete every single day. I know it's not going to be easy. I know we're going to get pushed every single day, but I mean, that's everyone's goal is to really get good minutes and really have a good position to really play on this team. But I mean, like I said, we all can compete every single day. We got a lot of great guys on the team, and I'm really looking forward to getting started with camp.
So, Sim, obviously you probably heard this, before. As every Knick fan is racing to get these interviews. What were your overall impressions from the interview? I understand they're not going to say the most, right? But he did mention interesting things. He talked about working on the lower body, muscles of the lower body. He talked about the game. Him and Obi are talking very effusively about Kenny Payne, and I'll get to that later because I think that there's something behind the Kenny Payne thing. But what were your overall impressions?
Yeah, with Kenny Payne, I mean, a lot of people are mentioning Kenny Payne, talking about Kenny Payne and how he's working with. I mean, you heard it from Nerlens Noel, obviously, Kevin Knox, OBI Toppin, excuse me, and, his work with big men, right? And, his ability to work on footwork and, just like some of the small, minute details of the game that some of these guys really lack. And these guys really are, looking and kind of dependent on Kenny Payne. So I do think he's a big part of what they're trying to do with some of these young guys. As far as what, Kevin Knox said, I mean, you mentioned a few things, like you said, he talked about some things like working on the lower body, working on his post-up game. Right, him and OBI Toppin together working on a post-up game, and hitting the weights every day together. I find it, I find it a little bit funny that they began working out together before the draft even started, and then all of a sudden OBI Toppin is drafted. But I guess because Obi was in New York, maybe Kevin Knox was in New York, they worked out together. A lot of what he said, I guess, is what you would expect for him to say, right? But he does seem to realize, he said his confidence is up. I think he does seem to realize that this should be a big year for him. I'm going to tell you what I did like that I didn't hear from other players is that he said he wants to be the starter. That's something that I did like.
But Sim, here's a question. If you got Obi, Randall, and assuming MKG, I don't think MKG is to make the roster, but
me either.
He's okay. I'll exclude him. So you got Obi and Randall at the 4. The 3, you got RJ Barrett. Alec Burke could play the 3. Bullock could play the 3. Where does Kevin Knox get those minutes?
I'm not sure. The one thing I'll say is he's the only player. I mean, RJ Barrett 6'6", and I don't know if he has the same kind of length as Kevin Knox. He's the only player that has that kind of length that would play. But OBI Toppin's not going to play 3, right? So he's the only player that has that kind of length, that you would look for in a 3. So if he's good enough, then they might look to say if he's good enough, and you got RJ Barrett at the 2. If Kevin Knox can shoot the ball at the 3, he can, hopefully spread the floor, to help out RJ. Then maybe you put him there. But I don't know if he's going to be able to win it out. I just like the fact that he did say, yeah, I want to start. I mean, when you listen to anybody else, especially from the guard position, all the other guys, or, more so like, I'm just going to do what I need to do. And, the coach will make that decision. Or, I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. was a little bit more like, whatever goals I have for myself, whether or not I reveal them to you, as long as I'm working hard towards them, I'll be okay. Something to that effect. But so far, Kevin Knox is the only person that said, yeah, I want to start. So to me, that's a good thing that's in his mindset that, I'm trying to come in and get that starting spot. He admitted that last year was rough. Right. And going through last year, not getting the minutes that he expected to get was rough. So maybe that's something that kind of, pushed him to say, yo, I got to do better. Right. So I guess, we'll see come camp time.
Now,
how much it really impacts him.
Let me ask something about Kenny Payne. Do you think that the front office is trying to do a slow transition to make this a Kenny Payne team? Like Thibodeau 66, right? He might retire, in 3, 4, 5, whatever. He might, he has a 5-year deal, but once he retires in 5 years, or maybe he moves on for 5 years, I don't know. But do you think that this team is slowly trying to make or push Kenny Payne as the next coach of the Knicks? Say, Thibodeau doesn't do as good of a job as everyone expected or wants, and they slowly implemented Kenny Payne. I mean, I could definitely see that. These guys are talking effusively about him. Obviously, has a UK connection, and people who said that he was the reason why UK has been so good these years, these past few years, or I guess for a long time. Even though they get some of the best recruits. Do you see Kenny Payne slowly? I don't say push out Tom Thibodeau, but
I don't know. Maybe Kenny Payne or John Calipari.
Come on, Calipari. He's a front man. Calipari. I'm not saying Calipari's not a real coach, but come on, Calipari. He's a king at Kentucky. He's not leaving that place. And Kenny Payne was never going to become that. He was never going to push Calipari out. So you just every interview, OBI, all these guys, Kenny Payne. Not to say obviously he's assistant coach. Assistant coaches, as you probably know, they work very intently with some of the players. Probably work more with the players one-on-one than the actual head coach for some teams, right? But it just seems like Kenny Payne. They have all these UK connects, and they're bringing in all this UK talent, even if it's not some this guy. Some MKG obviously is not.
Yeah, and well, he's probably the main coach within the camp, the coaching team, the main guy who's really his task has really been to work with young guys. I mean, listen, he's working with young guys coming out of high school, right? And that's what he's been doing for years, is teaching guys coming out of high school. And, that's probably, I remember a few years ago, we were having a discussion on the show that, the Knicks might want to think about not just the Knicks, any NBA team. I want to think about bringing in guys that are like guidance counselors or people that used to be guidance counselors or something like that, to work with all of these kids that are coming in so young, right? Because, you need a different kind of person to work with some of those type of kids. Kenny Payne kind of fits that mold. He may not be a guidance counselor, but working so much with high school kids, coming into college, he kind of has that feel and knows, probably knows how to relate to them a little bit better. And even though these guys are getting paid, some of them probably still have that type of, mentality. Obviously, OBI Toppin is just getting into the league, right? So he's brand new, to the league, and is still, still a young man, and he's got to learn the ropes. And having someone like Kenny Payne there that can help him make that transition, I think is big with his. And then his teaching ability, understanding what kids are coming into, I'm pretty sure all across the country, there's certain habits that kids come into, from high school into the NCAA, into college with, and then it translates or transitions on into the NBA. So he's clearly going to be an important factor to everything that's going on with this Knicks team this year. Everything. It's going to be an important factor.
Does he make our big men better shooters? Because look at he's made AD, Cat. He has a history of making, some of the taller guys, your forwards and centers, really adept at shooting, right? So we're looking at guys like Mitch, who might be under the crossfire right now. You got guys like, Randall, who could be a better perimeter shooter. You got guys like Kevin Knox, who needs to develop a post-up game. Do you think Kenny Payne can effectively add wrinkles that all of us have been, crying about and praying about, that some of these guys add to the game? Mitchell Robinson, 74% at the rim is great, but the dude does absolutely nothing else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he should hopefully he'll do wonders with Mitchell Robinson, because when you listen to Tom Thibodeau, I'm sorry, people, but he likes Nerlens Noel, man.
Yeah, you see this, guys.
He likes Nerlens Noel. I'm telling you, man.
You see the bias that Sim has. He's been calling for Mitchell Robinson's head since last season. But when it comes to Frank and Knox,
excuse me,
who didn't give you 100 and some blocks in their rookie season, who didn't give you 74%.
I'm not calling for Mitchell Robinson's head. You can go listen to my show. I said I think he's probably going to start. But when you listen to Tom Thibodeau, go listen to Tom Thibodeau's interview.
Yeah, I know, but you're happy. You're happy that he said it, so you don't have to say it anymore. You're happy.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy that it said anything. I'm just saying, Mitchell Robinson needs to watch out, with what he's doing, because, when you listen to Tom Thibodeau, he said, he's had a few good moments. That's how he started the interview about Mitchell Robinson. He's had a good few moments. But there's some things that he's got to work on, and he's athletic and got this, that, and that. And something that stuck out to me is he also said, I don't know where he's going to end up. And then right after he says, I don't know where he's going to end up, he transitions to Nerlens Noel. Right? I'm just saying, Mitch needs to come in ready and prepared, with open ears and an open mind, and ready to, really, really focus and learn those little nuances of the game that's going to make him better. I think Nerlens Noel is going to make Mitchell Robinson better. If he actually, he says that he wants to be a mentor to him, if that's what he actually wants to do, then, I think he'll help him to understand those little parts of the game that's going to make him better. Listen, Nerlens Noel is only 6'10". It's a little smaller than Mitch. There's not many centers in the league that have the same type of wingspan that Mitch does at 7'1" still, right? And has the dexterity to be able to play on the perimeter, as much as he can, really, or as much as a big guy can do. It's maybe not a big guy in the league that's as good as defending guards on the perimeter because of his length, the ability to, he does a great job of stepping back when a team is running the screen and roll, stepping back and be able to kind of quarterback that screen and roll and understand, okay, I need to stick with the screener, or, I need to go ahead and get with the ball handler and have enough length to be able to get back to his guy afterwards. There's not many guys in the league that can do it the way that Mitch does it. Part of it is because of his length, and part of it is because he's just good at doing it. Mm-hmm. Right. So those things right there, in my mind, tell me that he's probably going to be the starter because of that screen and roll, his ability to defend the screen and roll the way that he does. He's really like not even a quarterback, a linebacker back there when he does it. I'm just saying, he should watch out because I do think Tom Thibodeau likes Nerlens Noel.
Now, who was working with Mitchell Robinson? Didn't somebody visit him down or during the offseason to help him with the corner threes this summer? Wasn't somebody with him?
I don't know if there was anybody notable that was with him.
Could have
I
sworn.
know last year Mike Miller went to New Orleans and worked with him.
I think Trust just said Woody. It may have been Woody. Who went down.
Maybe.
Yeah, there were videos of him shooting like just taking reps at the corner three. And I could have sworn somebody was there with him.
Yeah. See the things that worry me about Mitchell Robinson a little bit is, and I'm hopefully, Rich Paul is putting the right people around him, but to right people around him for him to work on his game. I just get concerned, that when he's home away from the team, he doesn't have those right people around him. Not that he has bad people around him, but just people around him that understand what he needs to do during the off season. So hopefully Rich Paul is putting those type of people around him.
Right. So let's get to the OBI Toppin interview. The one that everybody, the chosen king, I guess, of the Knicks from this past draft. Just to say some tidbits, I'm not going to play a video, but I think he gave a decent interview. Didn't say anything too revealing. He says definite blessing that people are saying that when they're talking about I guess rookie accolades. Obviously, he came into camp and he destroyed like the fitness test or whatever it was.
Right.
We had some rookie of the year aspirations, because scoring prowess, the ability to impact the Knicks right off the back. This is from the Yahoo article. He's talking about Thibodeau. He says he's known for being a defensive coach, and I feel like what everyone's saying after working on defense, he's going to be sure I'm good at defense. He's going to make sure I'm going to do what I have to do to help the team win. If that's me being better at defense, he's going to make sure I do that. I kind of like that attitude. It should be I suck at defense, and I'm going to be better at defense. We all know I suck at defense, and you know what I mean? And he says, for myself, I'm a big team guy, so I'm never going to say my expectations are for myself. Me coming into a new brotherhood, a new family, I feel like I want to bring everybody together. I want to change the culture. I want to win a lot of games. I want to make the playoffs. I feel like the group of guys we have now, the coaching staff we have now, everybody's going to push each other every single day to be great and win a lot of games. We want to make these fans happy and put on a show for them. He said, hopefully at the end of the day, he achieves his goals, but he's not going to be able to do it without the guys around me. So from this generic interview, now I'm not coming at him. He just says the right things. How did you feel about what was your first impression from OBI Toppin? You've heard him talk before, but
yeah, I mean, everything that he said, I think I had already heard in other interviews, or that something that that was written that he said. I do like, that he says he wants to try to bring the team together. But I don't know if I take anything special from it, because I think we've heard it from him already.
Right.
Now it's time for him to just come in and actually do it. I know the one guy that I had on, he said that he worked for ESPN 1410 in Dayton, right? And he was he covered basketball and been around the team, all season long for the past couple of years. And he said the one thing with Obi is that, he's just like a really, 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 really good guy. And he's going to do, whatever he can. He wants everyone to like him. And he's going to do what he can to try to, to make people like you, to make people like him and to get along with him. He's going to be an ultimate team player. We'll see. That's all those things are good. We'll see how it translates to the court in the NBA. I think, obviously in the NBA, if you're going to be the guy, you need a tinge bit of selfishness sometimes. Not that he's not going to have it, but we'll see what he does.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're in the locker room, if you want, and listen, this guy is still speaking from outside of the locker room. He's still not speaking within the locker room. So what he says can only go so far. But sometimes you can't always be in the locker room trying to get everyone to like you. Sometimes you just got to take a stance, right? So, we'll see how that's going to translate into the NBA.
Now, let me ask you about his style of play right now. I don't think Obi's going to play at the 3. But could there be a scenario? And I saw what Tom Thibodeau, I was watching some film, Tom Thibodeau, what he did with the Bulls, right? When they had Boozer and Luol Deng, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he made it work, right? And I think Deng played more. I want to say he played more than 3. I could be wrong. I think he played more than 3.
Yeah, I think so.
But Boozer and Luol Deng had a good chemistry on the court, right? Deng a lot of times was on the block. You had times where Luol Deng would make that backdoor cut, like make a pass to Obi and then cut. Not Obi. Calls Boozer and then gets him on the block and then cut to the basket and get it right back. Go for the dunk. Do you think that they could turn Randall or find Randall, play him at the 5?
Mm-hmm.
This is a crazy line. Obviously, you don't have defense in your front court, but could you have certain sets or roster or rotations where you have Randall at the 5, Obi at the 4, play an RJ at the 2, you put another shooter, say maybe a Burke or a Bullock at that 3, and I don't know who you put the 1. Peyton. I don't know. Say you put a Peyton, but if you want a team that kind of wants to gas out other teams, quick passing, a lot of cuts, could that lineup work?
I think. I mean, in stints, I think it could work, and I think you'd have to have, RJ and 2 other guards that are really going to be rough defensively,
right?
So that you can try to jam up that entry pass into the post or, to those big guys. Now, if you're playing a team that doesn't have guys that are really good from those positions, that aren't going to be a huge scoring threat, or a team that's playing small from those positions, then it may not be a problem at all defensively, especially if he says, well, we'll go ahead and we'll play a little bit of zone. OBI Toppin 6'9", you can maybe put him in the middle, the center of the zone. Randall on the wing, and whoever is your whatever kind of zone they're playing, who knows? They could be playing 2-1-2, 2-3, 3-2, but it could probably work in small stretches of the game, because I think you can have Randall play that elbow area a little bit, and have OBI Toppin slashing to the basket or spreading out along the baseline and do some things that way. I think it could probably work as long as they're not playing a team that's huge at that point in time in the game.
And guys, we were saying Randall as the 5, Obi as a 4, not Randall, not Obi at the 3 and then Randall at the 4. So obviously we're thinking of a smaller lineup, but one that could possibly run with teams, or maybe, well, even if you play taller, clankier teams, right? For the simple fact that Obi can shoot, and you could play pick and pop with Obi, pick and roll with Obi, put Obi out on the perimeter in the corner. You can brutalize a lot of teams who have slower front courts, where those big men have to come out, and now you have a lane for RJ Barrett to cut through, or Bullock. Even a guy like Bullock, you have RJ Barrett cut through the lane, bringing that defense and then pass out to Bullock.
Right.
You have a lot of options with a lot of movement, guys cutting to the basket and having perimeter shooters kind of still serve that threat. So now the defense has to basically, are we going to commit to RJ Barrett and collapse on him? If we collapse on him, or if we even show that, they might pass out to Bullock, who might curl around out to the top of the key. I'm just thinking about this, just visually. So, and even when I'm trying to think. It's just that I was trying to think of a pick and roll, pick and pop scenario with Randall and Obi, but I don't think that'll happen, just because
I don't know who would be the ball handler in that situation. Yeah, I don't know.
But I would love to see RJ again. RJ showed good spurts out of the pick and roll. I don't know what his numbers are exactly before someone kills me, but in the beginning of the season, especially at the end of the season, you saw RJ be effective from the pick, and also in the summer league, because we talked about this in the 3rd and 4th game, I think it was, or the 4th and at least the 4th game. Him in the pick and roll. I would love to see him and Obi in a pick and pop, because we haven't had a real pick and pop threat in a while, and that was what, KP, where we can run that pick and pop. I mean, Randall could shoot the shot, but the thing with Randall is that he kind of loads up a little bit on the mid range.
Right.
It's just he has like a slower kind of, is not as fluid, right? But KP, Frank Lakina, I think, played some of his best offensive game in regards to being a point guard that we could possibly build around when KP was here. I mean, you had a breakdown maybe like a year or so ago where it was him, Hazonia, and Frank, and they ran like a pick and pop, or they ran something. It was like a pick and pop, but somehow Hazonia was in the mix somehow, and he got it to KP for a good open look. Do you see, if they want to play, RJ at the 2, do you see them, or say we don't have that proper 1, right? We try to experiment the 1, you play Austin Rivers, but if you want to get RJ Barrett going, do you play the pick and roll, pick and pop game? No, not pick and roll, excuse me, the pick and pop game with RJ Barrett and Obi? Do you think that's going to be a major for this team?
I think you can. I think RJ can do whatever you ask him to do on the floor, really. If you want him to be the ball handler in the pick and roll, I think he can do it and be able to find Obi, executing that pick and pop. Here's one thing about Obi that I think what I'm looking to see is, people talk about, he can shoot, he can spread the floor, which he can, and he can shoot it from NBA range, right? We've seen him do it. He doesn't leave his feet an awful lot when he shoots that 3 ball, though, right? And, in college, you got smaller guys closing out on you when you're shooting. In the NBA, you're going to have more guys with a lot of length closing out on you a lot faster. So I'm interested to see, how well he gets that shot off. He's not going to get it off. Well, in college, he did every once in a while get it off, off the dribble, but he's not going to get it off the dribble with defenders in his face. It's going to be more of a, someone penetrates and kicks it to him. So I'm interested to see how he does getting that shot off, if it's still as accurate as it was in college.
Right.
Because, there's going to be a different level of defense coming at him in NBA. But, as far as him and RJ working together, I think they should, I know RJ said that they will, they've been working out together some. I think that they should be able to, close in age, they should be able to develop a pretty good connection, I think. And that pick and pop, I think it'll work. How much can you play Obi at the elbow and have him do some things from the elbow? Not doing the screen and roll, but get him the ball at the elbow, get in triple threat, and hit slashers, hit cutters, and clearly be a threat from the mid range.
You could do a lot. I mean, for the simple fact, and Tom Thibodeau is going to look. Tom Thibodeau had Joakim Noah, and again, I'm not saying Joakim Noah is Obi, but I think one of the things that they saw with him, even though I don't think OBI Toppin had 3 assists, I believe, at Dayton. He had he only had 2.2 assists last year. But again, the passing chops, the ability to make passes, right? He has a court vision. So Tom Thibodeau did that a lot with Chicago, right? Had guys at the elbow, operate from the elbow to foul line. Joakim Noah would, pass at the pick, do the rub play, cut down to the basket. I think that when they got Giddey, when they drafted, I think they thought of all these possibilities, right? Obi is like he's like a chess piece. He's like he's like the queen on the chessboard, right? The guy who can attack from all angles. And, they saw what he could do with Dayton. And I was actually watching a video, like Dayton's offensive numbers were ridiculous, in all the country. I'm still watching a video. But I forgot what it was. I think it was like scoring from the mid range or something like that. Like they had the highest out of any team at like 64%. I got to watch it, the whole thing, and I'll probably have a nice little breakdown of it. But, it was like that offense, like they showed so many different sets. It was basically an offense on, high octane, like just ridiculous. And I think that looking at Obi, a guy who could operate from the post, you can move it around. And one guy I was actually trying to compare him to, but he only played 1 year in the Tom Thibodeau was Mirotic from the Bulls. But the year that he actually started shooting good from the three was a year Tom Thibodeau left. But you saw like in the first year he played with Tom Thibodeau, he shot like 31%. But me and Nick were talking the other night, and there was like this weird rub play that they kind of ran out of from like the triangle. And I just remember like Mirotic running. I'm like, wow, that's definitely an OB Toppin play where Obi was like, you could see Mirotic on one side, they operate the triangle, and then Mirotic somehow ends up on the other. He rubs off the ball handler up top and then comes all the way over to the other corner and hits the three. And I'm like, I could definitely see Obi doing that. You know, Tom Thibodeau was going to put a lot of motion because I don't think we have the shot creators like that. You know, we have spot shooters, we have decent shooters, but, you know, Alec Burke, Reggie Bullock, you know, decent players, role players. So I can see Tom Thibodeau really exploiting OB Toppin's talents, you know, all over the court, not just from the elbow, but there's going to be a lot of action from the elbow spot. Triple threats, come to the basket after the pass, the rubble play, delayed pick and rolls, or delayed rolls to the basket after the pass. Yeah, he's the chess piece the Knicks seem to always want, or at least Thibodeau. So,
I can't wait for. I just can't wait for the team to get together and see how Tom Thibodeau, you know, see what he does.
Right. So let me ask you this last thing, man. Paul George, your favorite player. You know what I'm saying? I'm joking. That's not his favorite player. But Paul George, this clown and a half, comes out and blames everything, but not everything. He blames, you know, they didn't have enough time to gel. He blames Doc Rivers not being able to make adjustments, which is true. How did you feel about his interview with the was it Up in Smoke podcast?
Yeah, I didn't see the entire interview. I just seen a little excerpt about, you know, that Doc was trying to use him like JJ Redick, right? Or you know, somebody like that. Yep. You know, or Ray Allen, you know, coming off pin downs and so on. And he was like, that's not, I can do it, but that's not my game. I need post ups, this and that. I seen somebody else kind of debunk what he was saying and was just like, you know, he scored like 33% of his points or something like that from the post up. So I don't know. Right. It was, some NBA guy. Right. So I don't know. I think, you know, that was excuses from Paul George. Saying why he didn't play well in the playoffs or in the bubble or something like that. You know, just trying to, you know, come up with some excuses, really.
Well, as a coach, don't you think it's a little scary that you could go to a team, the team is up 3-1, right? You have two guys, and I said this earlier, right? You have two guys that, at least Kawhi Leonard. I think Kawhi Leonard is a superstar in terms of his talent, even though he just doesn't play enough games. But Paul George is a 1B, maybe a 2A type of player. But you looked at Paul George as a guy whose talent can supersede a system, right? Where you don't have to run certain plays. The Clippers games I saw Paul George playing a lot of ISO, and not in a bad way. It's just he's that talented of a player that he could do his own thing, right? He could play in the post. He could play from the top of the key. He could dribble, drive, catch players, shoot with the mid range. I thought it was that, hey, these guys are so talented, we do not have to, you know, put them in a system that might, you know, curtail their production, right? So as a coach, don't you feel like I got these guys at 3-1, and these idiots couldn't just win me one more game? Now, if you lose to the Lakers is one thing, right? But you couldn't win. You were up, 15 in the third quarter, right? You couldn't win one more freaking game, and now you blame it on me for your and now he's praising Tyronn Lue, who I don't care what no one says. Tyronn Lue is a lesser coach than Doc Rivers. He is not a coach.
No doubt about it.
Like, he does nothing. I don't know what he's done. When LeBron James has that Cavaliers team, they drop. He left. So, as a coach, how do you feel that all the blame gets put on Doc Rivers? You know what I mean?
I think it's preposterous. I can't even say the word. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that all the blame gets put on Doc Rivers. Not to say that he doesn't have any blame in it. Clearly he does. He's part of the team. He was the coach, right? So it's going to fall on him, you know, because, you know, he was the leader of the team. But you're up 3-1. and then you have a 15-point lead in a closeout game and you don't finish it, clearly he did his job to prepare you to win. I mean, how much more can he do to prepare you to win if you're up 3-1 and then you got a double-digit lead in the closeout game? How much more can he prepare you to win? Right? At that point, to me, it's got to be on the players to finish it off. And then, when he's gone, now you're going to, say that, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. I didn't like the way he was using me and all this kind of stuff. To me, that would be a red flag. If I was Tyrone Lee, that would be a red flag for me. And for other players on the team, that would be a red flag to say, yo, this guy, I don't know if I want to rock with this guy.
But Tyrone Lue's just there for the ride, man. He just wants to win a chip and then just be again, to this day, I have no idea what Tyrone Lue does. This is a guy, and I'm not belittling it. This is a guy who fell sick because of the pressures with LeBron James. I don't think there's a LeBron James on the Clippers in terms of attitude. But again, you're talking about a Kawhi Leonard who doesn't talk, and then Paul George who's just not accountable. Patrick Beverley, who will get you he will get you terrible fouls. As good as the defender he is, he will get you some really boneheaded fouls, and you can't say anything just because he's just out of his mind. So you take the good, the bad with him. I don't know about that team, man. I like Kawhi Leonard a lot, but yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate. But yeah, guys,
the Clippers, man, it's the Clippers. It's weird. It's crazy.
Oh wow,
it's crazy. They put together this supposed super team, and they still have never been to the Western Conference Finals. Clippers.
Wow. Wait. When they lost to the Rockets, that was to get them to the Western Conference Finals, right? Remember they're up 3-2 against the Rockets?
Right.
With CP3. Oh, wow. Yeah, they never been to Western Conference Finals.
They've never been to a Western Conference Finals.
Wow.
I don't know if it's something about them being the Clippers, but
wow, that is terrible.
It's crazy. All of these players that they've had come through there in recent years, Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, now Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I mean, we know back in the day, right? The Clippers just, nobody wanted to go play for the Clippers. They were the dregs of the league. I can remember Charles Barkley after he played the Knicks one time, and he was talking about, I don't remember who he was playing with at the time, but his team won, right? They beat the Knicks, and they were talking about the upcoming road trip, and he called the Clippers. He was like, "Yeah, we got to go play the Paper Clips," and then da 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 da. But that's just how bad they were, and forever it's like they would get some talent, and for some reason it just doesn't work out with the Clippers. They get some talent, and it just doesn't work out with the Clippers. And it seems like that whole thing is not going away.
I mean, I still remember the year they had Elton Brand, Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, Lamar Odom.
Yeah.
I think they had Keon. I might be wrong about Keon doing it. I think they had somebody else, and they couldn't do nothing. And that was supposed to be a team. I think they were on Sports Illustrated. They own that's the new core. Didn't go anywhere. So yeah, it'll be interesting, but definitely look, guys, be tuned in as we continue to cover the Knicks, especially as this preseason's coming up. December 11th, all eyes will be on all these players, guys like Frank, Mitch, Randall, on all the younger players, Knox, to see how they do against the veterans. But guys, stay tuned, man. Thanks for tuning in on this Thursday. Salute to you guys, and peace. Peace out, man.
I appreciate you guys, man.
See you guys.